And if you execute on that for 10 years and you fill every hole in the bucket, your business grows by default because your competitors won't do that. This is where I say, like, business is not hard in that it is not complicated. It is hard because people cannot stay focused on the same thing for a long period of time. It's also because once people make a certain amount of money, if they only did it for the income, they're trying to find the next thing that's gonna make them more income rather than the mission of the business. We're so trained to say no to any kind of upsells that if you get someone to say no, but in so doing, get them to say yes, you actually click into their subconscious automated response. Most times when they say no to salesmen, they save money. You flip the script and you align it so that them saying no actually gets them to say yes for you and to the purchase. On the upsell that they had, they gave them a little piece of bait, and it was what I call sawdust. And so sawdust is anything in a business that is created in excess that you normally throw out. So a lot of famous things were actually made out of sawdust. IKEA pieces of furniture, they just glued together all the sawdust from lumber mills. Whey protein used to get scraped off the bottom of dairy centers because it was waste product, and now it's one of the most expensive products sold from dairy. What he did was he took the scraps from all the coats that they would make in the back. They made tiny little things that were made of fur. So think like little purses, little earmuffs. And so they said anybody who would turn in their coat would get this as a bonus. They gave away something that cost them nothing, that people still perceive value, as bait to get people to come in and actually take the upsell. What's even more, when people did come to turn the thing in, they would actually say, well, you want to store that too, right? And they would say yes, and then they would charge them for that. Even though they got the product for free, the storage didn't come free. One of my favorite quotes from B.F. Skinner, who was a behavior psychologist from way back in the day, was, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. He said, well, if you bleed it out enough and you starve it and you leave it in the sun and you put the water right in front of its mouth, he's like, I can veritably guarantee that I can make it drink. And so if you were to think about yourself as that horse, then it's like, okay, well, what is the equivalent of the bloodletting, the dehydration, the starving that you can put yourself into, get the behavior you want? So starving has a negative connotation, but we can also starve out the negative things in your life. Like you can starve the alcohol, you can starve the friends. And I think the easiest way to do that is to get out of the environment you're in. I think this was in Atomic Habits. In Vietnam, I think it was like 10% of troops or something were taking heroin when they were over there in the 70s. And they thought there was going to be this massive problem when they came back to the States.